The silent trap. Why most people stay stuck without realizing it. You probably already sense it. You see people around you, co-workers, friends, family, who seem to struggle financially year after year, even though they work hard, follow advice, or do everything right. And somewhere inside, you might be asking yourself, why does this happen? Why am I not breaking through either? Here's the truth. Most people never accumulate money not because they're lazy or unlucky, but because they are trapped in invisible patterns they don't recognize. These are habits, beliefs, and mental frameworks that operate silently, shaping decisions before you even realize you're making them. Invisible patterns control your decisions. Think about it like water flowing in a river. The river doesn't choose where it goes. It follows the path carved over centuries. Your habits and beliefs are like that riverbed. They guide every financial choice you make, what you spend on, how you respond to opportunity, what risks you avoid, what you chase, and even how you think about money itself. Most people assume they're making conscious choices, but in reality, the riverbed of their upbringing, environment, and unexamined beliefs dictates their trajectory. For example, maybe you grew up hearing things like, money is hard to make, or rich people are greedy. These statements weren't just opinions, they were early programming. They create a bias against wealth without you noticing. So when an opportunity arises to invest, start a business, or even negotiate a raise, a part of you hesitates, doubts, or self-sabotages, often before your rational mind even enters the conversation. Survival mode becomes a default mindset. Another silent trap is the survival loop. Many people live paycheck to paycheck, constantly responding to immediate needs. When you are in survival mode, your brain is wired for urgency, not strategy. It focuses on immediate relief, paying the bills, managing stress, coping with small emergencies. Long-term planning, the kind of decisions that compound wealth over years, feels abstract, irrelevant, or impossible. That's why you see someone working 50 hours a week, never saving, never investing, and yet struggling to understand why their situation hasn't changed. It's like running on a treadmill while hoping to get somewhere new. You're moving, busy, exhausted, but the treadmill doesn't take you forward. You can't outpace a pattern you're unaware of. It's not just about money, it's about identity. Here's the part most people miss. Your financial reality isn't just about income or opportunity. It's a reflection of your identity. You don't just need a strategy or a side hustle to escape the trap. You need to become the type of person who can handle and grow wealth. And that's not instantaneous. It's a process of shifting your habits, your beliefs, and the way you see yourself in the world. Until your identity aligns with wealth creation, nothing you do will truly stick. The system isn't against you, it's neutral. Finally, understand this. The world doesn't owe you clarity, wealth, or fairness. Systems are neutral. They simply reward patterns and consistency. If your patterns are aligned with short-term comfort, spending, and survival thinking, the system will naturally reinforce them. If your patterns shift toward long-term thinking, skill building, and deliberate action, the system responds to that too. The trap is that most people never see the pattern until they feel the friction, until the frustration builds and they start asking, why am I stuck? You're reading this because somewhere inside, you feel that friction. That feeling is a sign that you're aware enough to notice the riverbed beneath your choices. Recognition is the first step. Awareness is the doorway to change. You can't fix a system you can't see, and most people never even notice it's broken. Understanding the silent trap means noticing how much of your financial behavior is unconscious. It means questioning your assumptions about money, work, and security. It means seeing the patterns and realizing they're not permanent. They're just habits, and habits can be reshaped. The survival loop, how living day-to-day kills long-term wealth. If you're like most people, your daily life revolves around urgency. Bills come due, emails pile up, errands demand attention, and by the end of the day, all you feel is exhaustion. In this mode, the idea of building wealth seems abstract, almost irrelevant. Survival mode isn't just a feeling. It's a mental framework that prioritizes immediate needs over future growth. The trap of short-term thinking. Think about it like this. Your brain is wired to solve problems fast. When money runs out, your focus shifts to the problem at hand. This is why people pay bills late, swipe their cards to cover gaps, or skip investing because it can wait. In theory, This is logical. Solve today's problem first. But the pattern becomes habitual, and solving today's problem every day leaves no room to address the bigger structural issues. You're constantly fighting fires, not building fireproof systems. Why it feels impossible to plan. When every day feels urgent, planning for the future can feel like a luxury. Retirement, investments, career pivots, these are all long-term considerations. Your brain is designed to discount the future when the present is pressing. Psychologists call this temporal discounting. It's why it's easier to buy the coffee today than save $50 for an emergency fund. The discomfort of missing out on today feels immediate. The benefit of planning for years from now feels abstract. This isn't weakness, it's biology. The paycheck-to-paycheck treadmill. Most people never notice how much they're trapped until they reflect. Working long hours, spending most of what they earn, and feeling a small sense of relief after each paycheck creates a treadmill effect. You feel like you're moving forward, but the outcome rarely changes. You're exhausted, but not ahead. It's easy to misinterpret busyness as progress. In reality, the cycle keeps people from developing habits that lead to financial stability and growth. Small escapes that most overlook. The first step out of survival mode is recognizing patterns, not chasing instant solutions. Even minor changes, like automating savings, consciously reducing unnecessary spending, or tracking where every peso goes, begin to shift the focus from reaction to intention. Momentum starts small, but it compounds. The person who breaks free is the one who notices the loop, pauses, and intentionally chooses one better action each day. Living day to day is comfortable in the short term, but it's invisible sabotage over the long term. You're not failing because you're incapable. You're failing because the system of your daily life was never designed to build wealth. Once you see it, you can begin to restructure it. And that's where the real growth starts. The psychology of I can't, how your mind sabotages your money. Even when you see the trap you're in, the survival loop, the constant firefighting, something still holds you back. That something is your mind. Specifically, the part of you that believes you can't grow, that wealth is for other people, or that risk is inherently dangerous. Most financial struggles aren't caused by lack of money. They're caused by lack of mental permission to act. Self-doubt is a default setting. Your brain is wired to protect you from perceived danger. When an opportunity comes that challenges your current reality, starting a business, negotiating a raise, investing in your education, your mind signals alarm. What if you fail? What if you lose money? What if people judge you? These alarms are not imaginary. They are survival instincts. But the problem is that in modern life, these instincts trigger over caution, not protection. The result is hesitation, procrastination, and the endless deferral of action. Fear disguises itself as logic. Many people think they are being practical when they avoid risk. But often, fear is disguised as rational decision-making. You tell yourself, I'll start next month, or I'm not ready, or it's too risky. In reality, your brain is simply prioritizing comfort over growth. And comfort is cheap. Growth is expensive emotionally, cognitively, and sometimes financially. The conflict is that the things your mind resists are precisely the actions that could break you out of your financial loop. Learned helplessness and early programming. The feeling of I can't often has roots long before adulthood. Maybe you were told, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy, or just be grateful for what you have. These statements shape your belief system, teaching you that the world is limited and you are too. Psychologists call this learned helplessness, the idea that your actions don't meaningfully change outcomes. Even if the logic of your mind knows you could try, the emotional programming resists, breaking the mental ceiling. Awareness alone isn't enough. You need to challenge these mental barriers actively. One practical method is what I call the proof principle. Deliberately do small things that prove your capability. Maybe it's saving 100 Cuban pesos a week, completing a mini project, or learning a skill outside your comfort zone. Each small win is a tiny rebellion against the I can't voice. Over time, these wins compound into belief, and belief fuels action, the only true way to escape self-imposed financial limits. Your mind is not your enemy. It's simply following patterns that once protected you. Recognizing this allows you to start rewriting those patterns. Once the I can't voice is softened, you'll notice a surprising effect. The paths you previously thought were blocked become navigable. You start taking steps not because the fear disappeared, but because you learned to move despite it. The identity problem: you're acting like the person you used to be. Here's a hard truth: your financial reality is a mirror of your identity. You don't just need strategies, tips, or side hustles. You need to become the kind of person who can handle wealth. Until your identity evolves, any action you take will feel temporary, like patching a leak in a bucket rather than building a new vessel. Your current self has limitations built in. Most of us act from habits, beliefs, and self-images we developed years ago. The version of you that struggles financially is operating from an identity formed in adolescence, early adulthood, or even childhood. I'm not good with money. I can't take risks. I'm just a worker, not a creator. These statements are not opinions, they are operating systems. They determine how you behave around money, the opportunities you notice, and the actions you take. Why identity shapes financial behavior more than knowledge. Knowledge alone is powerless if your identity doesn't align. You can read every book on investing or entrepreneurship, but if inside you still believe you are someone who fails, procrastinates, or avoids risk, that knowledge never translates into action. Identity is the bridge between intention and results. Without it, even the smartest strategies fall flat. Real-world example. Think of someone who has all the knowledge in the world but never applies it. They may track expenses, plan budgets, and know investment strategies, yet they remain stuck. Contrast that with someone who starts small, saving a tiny amount each month, learning a new skill, or taking incremental steps toward a side income, and gradually begins to see results. The difference isn't intelligence, it's the identity alignment. One sees themselves as capable of growth, the other sees themselves as limited. Shifting identity intentionally. Changing who you are is not about forcing confidence or faking discipline. It's about designing small, repeated behaviors that prove to yourself who you can be. Each intentional choice, paying off a small debt, committing to one new habit, taking one calculated risk, sends a signal to your subconscious. I am someone who can do this. Over time, these signals recalibrate your identity. You are no longer acting from the old self that avoided growth. You are becoming the person capable of accumulation, responsibility, and long-term planning. The subtle power of identity. Once identity shifts, action follows effortlessly. Decisions that once felt impossible become natural. The hard choices, saving instead of spending, investing instead of consuming, learning instead of escaping, no longer feel like sacrifices. They are expressions of the person you are becoming. This is why wealth, like any deep change, is first a mental and emotional transformation, not just a financial one. The emotional price of staying broke. There's a hidden cost to being stuck financially, one that goes beyond numbers and spreadsheets. It's the emotional toll, stress, shame, comparison, and anxiety that silently erodes your confidence and decision-making. Most people notice the financial stress, but few recognize how deeply it shapes their sense of self. Stress becomes a constant companion. When money feels scarce, your body responds as if you are in danger. Stress hormones rise, sleep suffers, and your mental energy is drained. Every decision becomes heavier, from paying bills to saying yes or no to opportunities. Over time, this constant low-level stress affects your health, relationships, and capacity to focus. You are not just financially limited, you are mentally and emotionally taxed. Shame and comparison fuel inertia. Financial struggle carries an invisible weight. The sense that you should have more, the fear of judgment from peers, or the quiet shame of feeling behind. Social media exaggerates this pain, showing curated lives that make everyone else look successful. Comparison reinforces the narrative that you are failing, even when you are doing your best. And shame is paralyzing. It makes asking for help, taking risks, or pursuing growth feel impossible. Emotional spending is a symptom, not a cause. Many people try to cope with the emotional cost through spending, small treats, impulse buys, or indulgences that provide temporary relief. This is not weakness, it is human behavior. The problem is that these patterns, while comforting in the short term, reinforce the cycle of scarcity and guilt. Each purchase is a fleeting escape, but the underlying stress remains. Why recognizing the emotional cost matters. Awareness is the first step to change. When you understand the emotional price of staying broke, you stop blaming yourself for being bad with money. Instead, you see that your patterns are reactions to pressure, fear, and learned behaviors. This shift reframes your experience. You are not broken. You are responding predictably to the circumstances and patterns you've inherited. A path forward. The goal isn't to eliminate emotion. It's to transform how you respond to it. Small, deliberate actions like building a buffer, automating savings, or learning a new skill reduce stress. Over time, these steps relieve the emotional burden, giving you mental clarity to make better decisions. Recognizing the cost gives urgency and context to why change matters. Emotional awareness becomes a lever, not a weight. Understanding the emotional price of staying stuck is essential. It creates the motivation and empathy needed to restructure habits, challenge beliefs, and reshape your identity, laying the foundation for real financial freedom. The environment effect. How the people around you shape your financial ceiling. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, a statement often repeated, but the truth behind it runs deeper than a cliche. Your environment, including friends, family, co-workers, and even digital communities, sets the boundaries of what you consider possible. Financial habits, beliefs, and behaviors are contagious. Without realizing it, your surroundings either reinforce scarcity or enable growth. Habits and beliefs are mirrored. Humans are wired to observe and imitate. If you grow up or live around people who constantly worry about money, avoid risks, or prioritize consumption over saving, those behaviors become default. You might intellectually disagree. I want to be different. Yet subconsciously, your decisions often mirror the norms you see daily. This is why someone with the same income, same opportunities, and same knowledge as a peer can have drastically different outcomes depending on the people they surround themselves with. The invisible ceiling. Every environment has an unspoken ceiling, a level of income, ambition, or risk that feels normal or acceptable. This ceiling shapes your beliefs, how much you think you deserve, what opportunities you pursue, and how boldly you act. If your circle has never started a business, invested, or grown a portfolio, your mind will unconsciously treat those actions as abnormal, risky, or inaccessible. You don't consciously choose the ceiling, your environment sets it for you. Digital environments count too. It's not just the people physically around you. Social media, news feeds, and online communities are a new kind of environment. Consuming content that triggers envy, comparison, or fear reinforces scarcity thinking. On the other hand, following creators who build, teach, or model disciplined growth expands your perspective, showing what's possible and normal. The digital environment can be a lever for growth or a trap for stagnation. Shifting your environment intentionally. The first step to breaking the ceiling is awareness. Noticing the invisible norms, influences, and biases shaping your decisions. The next step is adjustment. Surround yourself with people who challenge, inspire, and elevate you, not just financially, but mentally and emotionally. Seek mentorship, online communities, or colleagues who model what you aspire to achieve. Gradually, the behaviors, language, and mindset of your environment begin to shift your internal baseline. What once felt impossible starts to feel plausible, natural, and actionable. Your environment is not destiny, but it is a powerful force. By curating the influences you allow, you reshape what your mind perceives as possible, and that becomes the foundation for financial growth, ambition, and sustained transformation. The consumer habit, why we buy to escape ourselves. Spending isn't always about need. Often, it's a way to cope with discomfort, boredom, or stress. Many people unknowingly use purchases to regulate emotions, fill emptiness, or escape the monotony of daily life. This habit is subtle, pervasive, and one of the biggest invisible drains on financial growth. Emotional spending is a short-term fix. Think about the last time you bought something impulsively. How did it feel in the moment? Relief, pleasure, distraction, maybe even a sense of control. Now, think about what happened an hour later or a week later. The relief faded. The problem remained. Emotional spending solves nothing permanently. It only shifts discomfort temporarily. The cost is that your energy, attention, and money are consistently diverted away from long-term growth. Why it's so hard to stop? Emotional spending is reinforced by modern systems. Credit cards, online shopping, subscription services, flashy marketing, and the culture of comparison. Your brain is trained to seek dopamine hits, quick wins that feel good now. That's why people repeatedly return to the same behavior despite knowing the negative consequences. It isn't laziness, it's human neurochemistry interacting with a system designed to exploit it. Recognizing the pattern. Awareness is the first step. Notice triggers, boredom, stress, social pressure, or even celebratory moods. Track how often spending is a reaction to emotion rather than a planned decision. Understanding why you spend is more important than simply telling yourself to stop. Once the root cause is clear, action becomes intentional instead of reactive. Replacing escape with purpose. The antidote isn't deprivation, it's substitution. Replace emotional spending with behaviors that fulfill the same psychological need without draining long-term resources. Exercise, creative work, learning, journaling, or small skill-building habits serve a similar reward function. Gradually, your brain learns new patterns. Relief and satisfaction don't have to come from spending, and long-term growth becomes aligned with short-term emotional regulation. Breaking the consumer habit is crucial because unchecked, it silently dictates financial outcomes. Once you stop using money as a coping mechanism, it becomes a tool instead of a crutch. And that shift is transformative, not just for your finances, but for your emotional resilience. The untaught rules. What school never told you about wealth? Most people are educated to earn, spend, and survive, but very few are taught how to truly build wealth. Financial literacy, risk management, leveraging skills, and understanding money systems are rarely part of formal education. This gap leaves most people operating on trial and error, myths, and cultural assumptions, which is why they struggle despite working hard. The gap between knowledge and action. You may know the basics: save more, spend less, invest wisely, yet knowing isn't enough. Without understanding the mechanisms behind money, these actions are sporadic and shallow. Real financial growth comes from knowing why certain strategies work and how to execute them consistently. For example, saving is meaningless without compound interest, investments fail without risk understanding, and side hustles flounder without market insight. Leverage is invisible to most people. One of the untaught truths is that wealth isn't earned linearly. It's multiplied through leverage. Leverage can be time, skills, capital, or systems. Most people earn money by trading hours for dollars, while others amplify their results by applying leverage strategically. Recognizing leverage transforms how you approach opportunities. Small effort can generate disproportionate outcomes, but only if you know the rules. Learning from real examples. Consider a person who starts with nothing but skill and curiosity. They invest time in building expertise, network strategically, and apply their knowledge to small projects that scale. Over a few years, their income grows beyond what hourly work could ever provide. Contrast that with someone equally skilled but unaware of leverage, who trades every hour for money and never sees exponential growth. The difference isn't talent, it's understanding and applying the untaught rules. Why this matters now? Without these rules, you remain trapped in cycles of scarcity, reaction, and frustration. With them, you gain clarity, direction, and actionable steps. The system isn't designed to favor ignorance. It rewards understanding, consistency, and strategic thinking. The sooner you learn the unspoken rules of wealth, the sooner you can break patterns that have held most people back for generations. The clarity gap. Why you don't know what you actually want. A big reason most people never accumulate money is simple. They don't know what they truly want. Without clarity, every decision is reactive, every choice is scattered, and every opportunity feels overwhelming. Money, in this sense, becomes a proxy, a way to fill gaps created by uncertainty and indecision. Why clarity is elusive? Clarity is hard because life is complex, and emotions, habits, and external pressures cloud judgment. You may think you want a high-paying job, a big house, or a luxury lifestyle, but those are often echoes of societal expectation, comparison, or short-term desire. True clarity requires stripping away noise. What would you choose if nobody else's opinion mattered? What actions align with your core values and long-term vision? The consequences of ambiguity. Without clarity, actions are inconsistent. You save, spend, and invest sporadically. You jump from opportunity to opportunity without follow-through. You feel busy but stagnant, and after years of effort, wonder why your financial life hasn't changed. This is not laziness or failure. It is the natural outcome of navigating life without a compass. Finding your direction. The antidote is deliberate reflection. Write down what matters most, identify your non-negotiables, and envision where you want to be 5, 10, or 20 years from now. Break big goals into actionable steps and anchor them to your daily habits. Clarity transforms ambiguity into direction, overwhelm into strategy, and possibility into intention. Clarity as a catalyst. When you know what you truly want, your decisions become easier. Spending is intentional, saving is purposeful, and investing becomes a tool, not a gamble. Clarity is the bridge between potential and action. It doesn't guarantee wealth, but it guarantees that your energy is aligned with what matters most. And that alignment is the foundation for transformation. The first escape. How to break the cycle with one small shift. Understanding the traps, patterns, and psychological barriers is crucial, but awareness alone won't change your financial reality. The most effective change starts with one deliberate, small step, something you can do today that begins to shift momentum. The power of microaction. You don't need a complete plan, a fortune, or perfect timing to start. Microactions, tiny, consistent steps, compound over time. Saving 100 Cuban pesos a week, tracking your spending for a month, or completing a small side project are all examples of actions that build belief, confidence, and capability. The goal isn't perfection, it's evidence that you can act, and that action grows naturally into larger, more impactful behaviors. Breaking the psychological barrier. Taking one small step proves to your mind that you can. The "I can't" voice begins to lose credibility. When you act despite fear, hesitation, or uncertainty, you create a pattern of success that your subconscious recognizes. Each micro-success reinforces identity, decision-making, and long-term thinking, making bigger steps easier and less intimidating. Examples from real life. Consider someone who struggles to save. They start by automating a small portion of income each month. At first, it's uncomfortable, but within weeks, the habit becomes normal. With a small buffer in place, they feel empowered to make better decisions, investing, negotiating bills, or exploring income opportunities. This first shift may seem minor, but it creates the momentum for exponential growth. The key principle. The first escape isn't about strategy, knowledge, or luck. It's about doing one thing differently, consistently. The act of starting, no matter how small, breaks inertia, reshapes identity, and signals to both your mind and environment that change is possible. Momentum follows action, and the first step is all it takes to start a journey that most people never begin. The skill of making money, building an income you control. Breaking the cycle with one small step is powerful, but long-term financial freedom requires skills, real, applicable abilities that allow you to generate and grow income independently. Skills are the currency of opportunity. The more valuable your skill set, the more options you create for yourself. Income isn't a lottery. Most people treat income like it's a fixed ceiling. Either you're lucky enough to get a good job or you aren't. In reality, income is tied to capability. If you can create, solve problems, or provide value that others need, you can control and grow your earning potential. This is why skill building is more reliable than luck, advice, or side hustle gimmicks. Start with what's accessible. You don't need a fancy degree or massive capital to begin. Skills like writing, editing, digital marketing, coding, teaching, or providing practical services can generate meaningful income with relatively low barriers to entry. The key is to pick something that aligns with your strengths, curiosity, and market demand. Then commit to mastery, not just participation. Practical examples. Someone skilled at copywriting begins freelancing online. Each project builds experience, portfolio, and income. Over time, they can command higher rates and choose clients intentionally. A designer leverages a small social media presence to secure steady freelance work. Eventually, they expand into passive income products like templates or courses. A service professional learns negotiation, upselling, and client management, skills that multiply their effective income beyond their hourly labor. Why skill compounds? Skills are not just income generators. They build confidence, credibility, and optionality. Each skill creates leverage, more clients, higher pay, and broader opportunities. Combined with small shifts and clarity of direction, skill building is a multiplier. It turns micro-actions into sustainable systems that can eventually scale to long-term wealth. The mindset of skill growth. Mastery requires patience, curiosity, and deliberate practice. Focus on progress over perfection. Recognize that each skill you develop is a tool to free yourself from reliance on others or circumstances. Your earning potential is proportional to the value you create, and skills are the vehicle for that value. Discipline and compounding. Turning small wins into lasting wealth. Generating income is only part of the equation. Without discipline and consistent action, even the most skilled individual can find themselves stuck in the same cycle. Discipline is the engine, and compounding is the fuel that turns small steps into life-changing outcomes. The invisible power of consistency. Wealth is rarely created overnight. Instead, it grows quietly through repetition. Saving a portion of income regularly, investing consistently, refining skills, and making incremental improvements. Each small decision compounds, often unseen, until years later, the results are exponential. What seems insignificant today, saving 500 Cuban pesos, learning a new skill, or building a side project, becomes transformative with time. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is fleeting, unreliable, and emotionally driven. Discipline, on the other hand, is a decision. It's the commitment to act regardless of feelings, fatigue, or external circumstances. By embedding small, repeatable habits into your life, discipline becomes automatic. Over time, these habits enforce progress without requiring constant willpower. Practical compounding examples. Financial, regularly investing a small amount in low-risk assets grows exponentially due to compound interest. 1,000 Cuban pesos a month today can become a significant some decades later. Skills. Practicing a skill 30 minutes daily may seem minor, but after a year, the improvement is substantial, opening doors to higher income and opportunities. Business/projects. Consistently iterating on small projects or side hustles compounds knowledge, network, and credibility, eventually resulting in larger-scale ventures. Why it works psychologically. Compounding leverages both action and perception. Each small win strengthens belief, shifts identity, and reinforces the discipline loop. Momentum builds quietly, reducing the friction of future decisions. Over time, success stops being a matter of chance. It becomes the predictable outcome of deliberate, repeated action. The key takeaway: discipline and compounding are the bridges between potential and results. Knowledge, skill, and clarity set the foundation, but without consistent execution, they remain abstract. By committing to small, repeatable actions today, you're planting seeds that grow into a financial and personal life far beyond what reactive effort could ever achieve. Mindset transformation. Becoming someone who keeps wealth. All the skills, discipline, and strategies in the world won't stick if your mindset isn't aligned. Long-term financial freedom is less about tactics and more about becoming someone who naturally makes choices that support growth, abundance, and resilience. Your identity drives behavior. Remember the identity concept? Wealth isn't just about money. It's about the person you become. People who consistently build wealth think differently about opportunity, risk, and responsibility. They view money as a tool, not a goal. Shifting your mindset means internalizing that perspective and aligning daily actions with it. From scarcity to abundance thinking. Scarcity thinking is the root of most financial struggles. Fear of losing, fear of missing out, fear of being judged. It drives short-term decisions and reactive behavior. Abundance thinking doesn't ignore risk, it reframes it. It emphasizes learning, growth, and opportunity. Mindset transformation requires noticing scarcity-driven impulses and consciously choosing responses that align with long-term outcomes. The compounding of belief. Just as money and skills compound, belief compounds too. Each choice that aligns with your desired financial self strengthens identity, reinforces discipline, and builds confidence. Over time, this creates a self-reinforcing cycle. You act like someone who creates wealth, which produces results, which strengthens belief, which fuels further aligned action. Practical ways to shift mindset. Reflect daily on financial decisions and motives. Surround yourself with people who model abundance and growth. Journal wins, lessons, and progress to reinforce identity. Treat challenges as opportunities for learning, not signs of failure. Celebrate small wins to reinforce alignment between behavior and identity. The ultimate transformation. The shift is subtle but profound. Your external results, income, savings, investments, opportunities, are reflections of your internal state. Mindset transformation is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process. By cultivating the perspective, habits, and beliefs of someone who sustains wealth, you ensure that all previous steps, clarity, skill, discipline, and action, translate into lasting financial and personal freedom. Bringing it all together, your path to financial freedom. You've now explored the invisible forces that hold most people back: fear, identity, environment, emotional spending, lack of clarity, untaught rules, skill gaps, and inconsistent action. But knowledge alone isn't enough. Transformation happens when understanding meets deliberate action. See the system, break the cycle. Every insight shared is part of a bigger system. Your habits, mindset, environment, and skills are interconnected. Ignoring one area undermines progress in another. Recognizing how these pieces fit together allows you to break free from the reactive patterns that trap so many in financial stagnation. Start where you are. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Choose one insight and act. Maybe it's clarifying what you want, committing to a small savings habit, building a skill, or shifting mindset patterns. The first step, however small, starts momentum. Progress compounds just like money or skills. One action leads to another, creating results that were impossible from a standing start. Redefine what wealth means. Wealth isn't just numbers in a bank account. It's freedom, confidence, and the ability to make choices aligned with your values. Each lesson you've absorbed is a tool to not just earn, but to design a life that supports growth, emotional resilience, and purpose. Real financial freedom is as much internal as it is external. The invitation. This essay isn't just information, it's an invitation. An invitation to see the patterns, take control, and act intentionally. To become the person capable of creating, sustaining, and multiplying wealth. To stop repeating cycles and start building a life defined by choice, clarity, and compounding growth. The journey begins with one deliberate step. The rest unfolds from there.